So, when I originally got the video ideas for the first part of Season 7, this was also a video that was supposed to be there. However, myself from 4 months ago decided this one was way less relevant when compared to the others that were actually uploaded, which I think is kinda some baloney considering like half of what you just saw. Anyway, Greenhorne. This is a Miitopia world that I've talked about really only once in the past, and that one time was the world ranking in which I kinda slandered it pretty hard. And ever since I made that video, my opinion has barely changed on it. However, putting it at number 7 out of 10 back then is definitely a bit exaggerated. Nowadays, I actually really like Greenhorne as a world, and let's go over that. So, Greenhorne is the very first world of Miitopia, and because of that, it has a lot that it has to achieve in order to make a good impression for players that are playing the game for the first time. And Greenhorne does all of this flawlessly. It starts the player off by introducing the main enemies of the game, then leads you to Greenhorne Town, which leads you to introducing the face stealing mechanic that leads to jobs, and so on and so forth. It introduces everything at a pace that's consistent with the pace of Greenhorne's plot, and teaches the player really well. The sprinkles and save spot can also be found here, but if you're an absolute champion, you can make it through without. The first part of Greenhorne is a very well designed beginning to Miitopia, and it introduces the game perfectly. The visuals of Greenhorne are overall good. It's not near stuff like Realm of the Fae or the Skyscraper, but it is up there along with worlds like Next Door Carcassonne. Something interesting this time around is that Greenhorne's visuals are mostly stellar in the sub-areas. Riverdeep Cavern, Nightmare Tower, and the King's Castle are all very nice and look wonderful. The rest, not so much. Eastern Hills is fine, Arid Frontier is fine, Wayward Woods is fine. Castle View is actually pretty good. I like it. It looks very nice. But the visuals don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Visuals in Miitopia are a bonus if they're great. How about something that actually matters to a world? Greenhorne's plot is absolutely amazing. It's easily the second best plot in the game behind Carcassonne, and overall it just has so much more than something like Realm of the Fae or Next Door. It has a lot of moving elements and doesn't just rely on one singular person carrying the plots, like the Genie in Next Door or Fab Fairies in Realm of the Fae. Nothing relies on one person, and it's simply great. Almost every area has plot relevance and feels like a lived-in world. I love it. Carcassonne is still better though. Greenhorne's music is pretty good, however inferior to a lot of other worlds. In a vacuum, it's good. When compared to other worlds, not as good, but still good. Greenhorne's bosses are actually pretty cool. The introductory quarter is pretty good. Most bosses blend into one another, besides the imp, but they're really good for being beginner bosses. The golem sucks ass, convinced me otherwise. The Griffin is really hard to beat and the hardest at its point in the game, and when combined with the shitty prince that nags you constantly, makes something you probably won't forget since your very first playthrough. It's awesome. The General is also a really cool boss. Because of the fact that it deals a lot of damage and is the final boss of Greenhorne, this leads to a very stressful and climactic fight that you'll also likely never forget. Greenhorne's overall boss selection is one of the best in the game, with really only one true blunder being the golem. And there you have it, my opinion on every aspect of Greenhorne. Yes, I know this ended up far shorter than my Realm of the Fae analysis, but yeah, there's far less to talk about here when compared to Realm of the Fae. It's an absolutely awesome world that sets a very good impression to new players. However, it falls a bit short when you compare it to New Lumos or Carcassonne. As I said in my Realm of the Fae analysis, one simply can't compete with the best. Thanks for watching.